All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Cassandra. So beautiful to see your face and everyone else. Here we are coming together in 2020. And this morning, the invitation is to begin this Monday morning Heart Resonance call, this hosted by Good of the Whole. And for those who might be listening in for the first time, I'm Shelley Darling, and really happy to be offering this experience and practice of really living our love, living the wisdom of our heart. And this morning, how beautiful we have this opportunity to come into this beautiful reflection on cultivating heart wisdom. So we always begin this call with an attunement, an opportunity to feel it more deeply into this resonant field and to really consider that good of the whole is not what we do, it's actually who we are. So just take a breath and let's just really begin here this morning. The good of the whole, living for the whole, living my wholeness, living our collective heartbeat is who we are. And that love is the ever-present practical voice of this experience. And as we settle in this morning to feel this commitment, in a sense, to collectively building coherence together, to feeling into what we describe as this home frequency, this sensate experience where the mind and the heart come together in a profound space of knowing, of being, where we're encapsulated in this creative potential in every moment. So just allowing yourself to settle in, letting go of mass consciousness, letting go of what we're seeing outside of ourselves, but coming into that holy rose chamber, this chamber of the heart, this vibratory field. And breathing a few collective big breaths into our, really the womb, into the wisdom of the earth as we sit here. We've come from the 7 days of rest and really focusing on harmony and diversity, radiant diversity. And we just begin here this morning in this, cultivating this field of our wholeness and appreciating and loving every aspect of ourselves, no matter what our mind is thinking. And allowing that radiance, that vibrational frequency of light upon water, because that's all that's happening here, where these vibrational fields of liquid essence and that light in connection creates the vitality and the form and the function of who we be. And so just breathing into that, feeling that undulating field, the tapestry of your heart in collective consciousness. And feeling that commonality, that communion. And therefore, without even thinking, that sensation of trust, of reverence. And of potential. And then allowing your consciousness to rise and to open, and to really feeling this interconnected whole that we are together. So welcome everyone who's just joined us. And as we have this call, just continue breathing into this sensate, revelatory space that we are completely wowed by. So this morning, we have this opportunity to come into this place of cultivating our heart's wisdom. And John will open our call. And just to remind each other of these just few guidelines that allow for this consciousness to permeate our being. And the main thing is to really pause and trust the silence, to allow ourselves to deepen into that liminal space and to really feel into that silence. And then to be aware of the energy of the woven pattern that's happening as each one is speaking. Yes, we're each putting in our own individual threads into this beautiful tapestry, but how it gets woven is essential. We know we have quilts and patterns, and if those threads unwind and unravel, we end up having a whole. So here it's to really tap into the vibrational field, that frequency, that living frequency of love, and allowing what wants to emerge as we all collectively focus on the field itself, the intelligence speaking through us and as us. So with that, I pass the beautiful crystalline virtual talking stick over to John, and we'll open this call and just listen.
Thanks, Shelley. Good morning, everyone. Staying in the heart space of Shelley's beautiful atonement. You may close your eyes or keep your eyes open and relax. We'll start with a poem from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. We do not become storytellers. We came as carriers of the stories that we and our ancestors actually lived. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not come artists. We came as artists. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not become writers, dancers, musicians, helpers, peacemakers. We came as such. We are. Some of us are still catching up to what we are. We do not learn to love in this sense. We came as love. We are love. Some of us are still catching up to who we truly are. All of us long for the love offered by the eternal source of all life. We absorb that sweet elixir as we surrender to the infinite resonant field. The love we long to find infinitely vibrates at the core of each of us. We are brought into our fullness when we embody our love and without judgment or limitations, share it with all others. 1,000 candles can be lighted from a single candle. As we become increasingly united in the resonant field, we have the opportunity to offer love and share our innate wisdom unconditionally as we consciously choose to live for the good of the whole. Deepening into our hearts, let's allow the resonant field to inform us and expand our capacity to even more boldly share the infinite love of the universe with all others. Thank you.
So we open this call to each and every one of you to speak 1 to 2 minutes and allow the field to build. And you're welcome to come in more than once as you feel that impulse. And for those of you that are on the phone, don't forget you come in on default mute, so you need to unmute yourself. So with that, we just open this call to the participation of each and every one of your beautiful lights.
Oh, beloveds, in this field, I recognize myself as we. I can't do anything other than that because the part of me that functions in this space is holy. To be holy is to be inclusive, to be aligned with the heartbeat of all who are living, all forms of life. That is who we ultimately are. And as we can express that in sacred space like this, it's like giving permission to the world to go deeper and to find that core within. Here we have the venue for that traveling, that sinking into oneness, that collective heartbeat. We go there however we go there. We already know how to go there. We wouldn't be here if we didn't. And so with that, I feel humbled by the beauty that I witness in each of you. You truly are an example of moving into we consciousness. Thank you.
This is Shelley, and I want to follow that thread. Just hearing that word humble, and just feeling into the vibration of humility is, I don't know, it just feels like it's calling, because there is and has been an understanding of humility and humbleness that is, at least in the world that I've been in, is it's less than, somebody who's on their knees, in a sense, is weak. And in regards to this cultivating this heart wisdom, I feel like this responsibility, this response to slowing down and really feeling into whatever it is, another person, looking at a sunset or a sunrise, or looking just at a blade of grass or an animal. It is it is, to me, it's kind of like feeling like it's the truing of our sensate being. It's the truing of our capacity to love when we're in that deeply reverent space. And I'm just in the moment being aware of that. When I look at each one of you, it's when you're speaking and that frequency is pulsating and you're speaking from that field, it softens my heart. It invites me to just become that that small blade of grass, or that animal that I'm seeing, or the reverence we have for the earth herself, as she's going through what her body's going through, our bodies are going through. So I'm just really in deep appreciation, and put the talking stick back in the center.
Good morning. I am captured by the word boldly, to express our love boldly. And I really don't know how to express that. I know that it would take me to a different space when on the screen I am on mute, and I am seeing you all as a different expression than words. So what is coming forward is, and this is one part of that, and what was before that was coming to me. If the resonance field is the field before the words arises from that place. So I'm asking myself, do I dare to express my loving as it comes, and I don't have to package it in the words the way that it could be a match into this container that we have created. So what I'm trying to say is, can we give permission to ourselves to express that this loving in whatever forms there arises, not necessarily in words. For me, there is lots of sounds that comes out of me. There are lots of tears that I'm experiencing. There's lots of, oh, that is here. And I have to even watch my face sometimes to be careful not to be shown on the screen that I am doing that. So, and I'm very clear that in that feeling, I'm holding all of you in my arms. So, invitation is maybe to us, and it's I'm hearing in myself, do I give myself permission to express boldly that loving that wants to express itself through me in the safety and intimacy of this space, beyond words, in whatever forms that it comes. It is more intimate for me to that, is genuine, is coming from that resonance field, more than the words that I want to express. I hope that I could convey what I'm feeling, but that is what it is for now. I shouldn't have put myself on mute, and what I just said, I should have allowed myself to express it. But it seems I'm asking for permission.
Heed. You're speaking my language. Unable to speak very clearly as a child, the feeling tones below the words were the only thing I could speak. And like you, I've had to keep that somewhat remote and careful. Not to disturb the peace, and to watch, all of these ways and means, and the humming, I must say, has Hama, the mother of the world. Immediately my hand goes to my heart. Oh, that was where I could be truly free. And that was where the permission was always given. You are beautiful. You are loved. I'm here. And these universal languages, I feel just peeking around the corner now. Like a gozo, takamapata ye. Asapoto. Akabo. Shapatagasiti gava. Sapotoko. Oh, And when I am, flowing in this space, I mean, it's like every little cell in my body starts tingling, and then go I just always want to reach out. Yesterday in the group, our Holy Eight, was a remarkable thing that happened. I shared I'm going to be involved in a couple conferences, and I'm going to, anyway. I said one of the things that I've been playing with is tickling my telomeres, and there was a couple of women that were out. They were sick, and so all of a sudden, the whole group picked up that we would just tickle each other all over and just get our telomeres just vibrating, and then sending it to these two women, that there would be something so healing and stimulating everything, And there we were tickling ourselves all over and each other. So this incredible thing of how can a grown woman act so silly? And all of the years I struggle with that. And yet I want to share that it is, I feel, make a statement, I feel it's only in silliness that appears silly that any kind of risk-taking can take place. Because every new idea is silly at first. Everyone. There's going to be people that think this is ridiculously silly. How can you act like that? Can't you just speak English? And, it's just like, oh, thank you for sharing and smiling, that it's all part of the same fabric. And I'm complete.
I'd like to pick up on that. Well said. Nothing can be excluded. When we speak of the resonant field, when I speak of the resonant field, in quantum physics, we have wave and a particle. Our expression is the particle, but the wave has no object. It has no definition. It is pure love itself. What each of us decides to do with that depends upon our history, our beliefs, our structures. And yet when we gather on Monday morning, we have this incredible opportunity that allows us to simply drop into the silence of the wave of love itself, with no object, with no definition. And in that space, we are informed of our next opportunity to share that love. The love that is infinite and eternal, beaming to us from the singularity of all life, of all universe, becomes our opportunity to share with others. Simply to share with others. To light all the candles with this love. Not for self-aggrandizement, not for success of any sort. As I spoke this morning, we don't become lovers, we are lovers. We are. I'm still one of those that is becoming the lover that I already am by letting go of the necessity to have an object of my love. When I let go of the object of my love, whether it's through words or through having an object of my affection or an idea of what I need to put my love to, I rest in the resonant field of love itself. And I am informed at that infinite moment and guided to know who I truly am in one that can share that love with every being on our globe. And so on these Monday mornings, it's such a gift for me to rest in that resonant field of love, knowing that all of you are here with me in that, without judgment, without limitation, without expectation. And as Shelley said, humbling myself to experience that without a need to make it something or anything at all other than exactly what it is, the love that we are. And I'm complete.
How beautiful. What is calling in me now is this invitation. Let's lose our smartness. Let's be that silly. Do we dare to be that inside of this space together? That is what I'm calling in. That is what I welcome. So Rumi says, lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. I love what is emerging in this space.
Hello, Jess from Wales here. I wanted to just say that last week after the call, I had such a wonderful feeling of the field, and it felt so harmonious, and I was very grateful for that. And the feeling that arises when I think of cultivating heart wisdom is very similar to what Nahid just said about losing smartness. For me, it's losing judgment. If I want to cultivate heart wisdom, I have to let go of that head and that judgment, and sink into it's even beyond the small individual feeling. It's that deeper feeling. So, and realizing when I say losing the judgment, so all the stuff and rubbish and nonsense that goes on, realizing that a lot of people are still stuck in pain and unresolved pain, and that judging them just creates more pain. So losing that judgment helps me to cultivate my heart wisdom. So I am complete.
Good morning. This is Karen in Costa Rica. So many things have been, I don't know, flooding through my head. Waiting for something to get a little more cohesive, but I don't think that's going to happen. And it just started pouring rain and got very dark here. Sorry. Listening to everyone, thoughts that came to mind. Going back to the poem, many of us have been remembering who we really are and starting to cultivate why we're here as we become aware of that. And groups like this, the people who are starting to know that are coming together. So it's the we. And we are here to help those that are still trying to remember and catch up. I know I haven't remembered it all yet, but I would say all of us here have remembered some. And just like the people before us that had remembered some and helped us remember, we're here to help the others remember and catch up. And wowzer, that was wonderful. And he too, of course, always. Well, everybody. But what came to mind while you were talking, wowzer, was, and then the heat after was, isn't there something written in something about the only way to someone said eye the needle or enter heaven was through the eyes of a child. So nothing's too silly to a child. That's all part of joy and fun from within. And if I'm learning anything, that's where it all comes from. I can't remember how, in that video I sent out for New Year's, he talks about the differences and joy. And the joy from within is what you have spilling out to express. And I think it's beautiful and shouldn't be suppressed. So thank you for sharing so much. I have difficulty doing that myself, so it gives me permission and help to be able to go do that too. So thank you again. And this is a wonderful place to be on Monday mornings. So thank you for Shelley for bringing us all together. And how beautiful you look in the light. Thank you.
This is Henry in Colorado. Yes, such beautiful quotes from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Yes, catching up. So important. And what was just expressed about remembering and awakening. It's all about catching up. And yeah, we're in a place of so much importance of remembering or allowing the soul, our souls, to catch up with ourselves. Our being and knowing to catch up. I'm not sure which way it goes for being to catch up with knowing, or knowing to catch up with our being, with who and what we truly are, to leave space for that dance. Which indigenous people are much more aware of that. importance of catching up our consciousness, awareness, and heart wisdom with our technology. So those are some things that this reflection and the sharings have brought me to, and just recognizing the need for me to catch up, need and desire to catch up with myself. One of the, from the Damanhur perspective, in addition to the five senses that we're all familiar with, there are three other ones that they include in that, maybe even speaking of them as middle senses. And one of them is the heart sense. And included within that is maybe our first impression, or our impression, or when meeting someone, that is part of like our heart sense. And for me, I sense that helps in bringing me back to who and what I am, and also who I am interconnected with. So anyway, something that I want to explore more fully, and I am complete.
This is Dinama in Oregon, and I had to catch up with you this morning in time. And I see that our perception of being is placed in time and space. And am recognizing that we are water expressing, spirit, being, life force is water expressing through all things. And recognizing we are always that, and expanding into that as we choose and intentionally create from that wholeness that is in motion, is always flowing, the life force within us. And with this eclipse this weekend, the connection has amplified galactically. And I let's see, feel the explosion of that being in all things, letting go of attachment and free falling in the flow, knowing that our collective intention is manifesting. I'm complete.
So as we become more bold in our expressions and cultivate this heart wisdom, let's just hold the space for others to share the next few minutes for those of us that have shared, and invite those of you who haven't and are on the phone, make sure you do unmute yourself, and let's listen for how this cultivation and sharing this wisdom with others can sort of miraculously join and expand itself through us and as us. So with that, just invite people who haven't shared to come on up, and the rest of us will be in that liminal space together. All right then. So let's just take a moment, a minute, to sit in the stillness of these waters, since we have that chance. Because following that thread of water, the water will always look where to expand itself and to create greater fullness. If the banks are steep, the river will go forward towards the ocean. If the banks are wide, the water will fill itself like a reservoir. It's just inviting for a moment how that frequency, this home frequency, this feel, this connection with light and water, music and sound, wants to bring its voice to this collective. Feel into that titillation that has been being spoken about through everyone here this morning.
I would like to pick up the thread of timelessness. Dinama. One of the things that has helped me flow is changing my relationship with time. Thank you for bringing that and anchoring that in the field today. Timeless. It frees us from all the restrictive limits that we put on ourselves. I invite us all to contemplate timelessness.
Thank you. So with that, we have this opportunity to carry and cultivate this heart wisdom into our day, into everyone that we meet, into our expression with the field, in that timeless place, and trusting that voice. So I just want to invite people to join us on our Wednesday mentoring call, where we take this expression and really begin to develop and really live for the good of the whole. Listen to how it wants to, you know, as John was saying, the wave and the particle, how those waves want to take shape within us and as us as a collective, the joy of playing together, the joy of listening together. So if you're interested, you can, and haven't been on that call, can contact me at shelley@goodofthewhole.com. And with that, we can unmute ourselves and ripple out whatever sound or exciting expression that you feel. And for those of us who want to continue in this yummy experience, however you wish to express that as well. So with that, thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting us. And part of this conversation today has been really about sharing it with others. Let's invite those that are sitting at the edge of their experience, those that are part of that evolving horizon, to come play with us here. And there's lots to come in 2020. We're working on it, and so be a part of that as well. Blessings, everyone, and let's open this collective choir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yum.
For Nancy. Blessings to you all.